What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from Spaten, and they are out of Munich, Germany, and this is their Optimator. So this is a German Doppelbock. It comes in at 7.6% alcohol by volume, 60 IBUs, and at the time of review, I don't know exactly how old this bottle is, but it does have a freshest before date of October of 2022. We're about 2 months away from that date, so we should be fine. You know, styles like this, it can age for a while, although this is in a green bottle, so hopefully there's no skunkiness and this was handled correctly, but we will see. So, authentic German Doppelbock, and when it comes to authentic German Doppelbocks that we can get here in the Buffalo, New York area, there's pretty much, I would say, 4 of them that I kind of compare to one another. We have Einger's Celebrator, Paulaner's Salvator, Weihenstephaner's Corbinian, and this one. Now, I have reviewed the Einger Celebrator and the Weihenstephaner Corbinian, and if I was to rank them, I think depending on, how old the beer is, my mood, whatever the case may be, they may fluctuate, although I think Einger's Celebrator is at the top of the totem pole for me. And then right after that's probably Corbinian from Weihenstephaner, and then you have this and Paulaner Salvator. Now, here's the thing. Even though I'd probably go Einger, Weihenstephaner, this, or Paulaner's Doppelbock, they're all really well made and really good. It just all depends. Now, I haven't had this one in a couple years, and I've always remembered this one being good. But again, it's a green bottle. And again, if this is handled incorrectly, as in, light for a while and whatnot, we're going to get some skunkiness. Hopefully it dissipates as we drink it. This isn't super fresh. I'll tell you right now, there's skunkiness because I just cracked it and it has that skunkiness kind of vibe. So hopefully as I pour it and start drinking on it, it dissipates. But okay, it's not too bad. Okay, it kind of dissipated already, but yeah, it was definitely there for a second. So let's give this a pour. I love Doppelbocks, one of my favorite German styles, and it's just, I love the big, malty monsters. They're delicious. And again, I've had this one before. It all depends on, my feeling and whatnot, but yeah. Anyway, in the glass, on camera, it's going to look probably like a dark brown or maybe like a dark red. In person, it looks like I just poured a Dr. Pepper or maybe a root beer or something. It's crazy because it has like darker mahogany tinges up here, or like brown at the bottom. It has like a cola looking vibe, so you can't see through it. Like, it has some decent clarity to it. About a finger of a tan colored head, looks somewhat creamy. I'd say it looks nice. Does it look like a Doppelbock? Sure, let's get a nose. Yeah, so the skunkiness kind of left as I cracked open the bottle. As you can see, this is a green bottle. So it's unfortunate if it's been in light for a while, it gets light struck and you get that skunkiness. But the smell, very slight remnants of that skunk, but it's really nice. Toasted dark brown bread. That's what I'm getting right in the nose. After that, little bit of caramel, toffee, kind of sweeter malt characters. A touch of like a raisin or a prune. So dark fruits, but not overly so right now in the nose. A little bit of like an earthy bitterness on the back end. I love that toasted brown bread. It's really nice. So yeah, I mean, a lot of these are very similar in, how they smell, how they taste. It just depends on what you're looking for. Sometimes one's more of like a dark fruit forward one. Sometimes you get more of that like caramel and toffee. Other times that toasted dark bread. I would say as far as the 4 that I mentioned, I feel this one is really heavy on that dark bready kind of, again, I say darker brown bread kind of note more so than anything. Where I feel like Einger Celebrator, I get like, caramel covered like raisins. Like it depends on the beer, right? But they're all very similar to some degree. It smells really good. It doesn't smell amazing, but it smells really fucking good. Very malt forward, but I think it's going to be reserved. It's going to have a decent, like, earthy bitterness. Yeah, it smells good. Let's get into it. Prost, everybody. This is why I love Doppelbocks. And again, I feel like Doppelbocks and Bocks in general, they're an acquired taste. You got to like malt forward beers. But not like over the top, but you gotta like that malty goodness, the bready kind of components, the caramel, the toffee, the more of that dark fruits, dark stone fruits even. And I love all that stuff, so that's why I love these beers. And this is a really good example of the style, in my opinion. Body's like higher side of medium, lower side of full, big, 7.6%. Definitely has heft to it. The body, it has a nice crispness to it, very well carbonated, but it's really smooth on the palate. I really like the body. It might be more low full than anything because it has a big, heft to it, but it's not like syrupy. It's not over the top. It still makes it very drinkable because a lot of times when you get really like full bodied or like syrupy thick beers, it's tough to, dare I say, session the beer. It's not incredibly quaffable. I would say for 7.6%, I could drink 2 or 3 of these. I shouldn't nowadays, but I could. And I would not get sick of it, and I don't think the body would bog me down. The taste, though, the nose carries over. No skunkiness in the taste. Typically, for me, that's only in the aroma. Very rarely have I ever tasted something that has that skunkiness. And if so, like it had to be like super light struck at that point. Toasted dark brown bread. That's the predominant note. Hits me right at the front of the palate. After that, a little bit of caramel, touch of toffee, touch of molasses, sweeter, malt characters. Then I get the dark fruit, but I've always found that this has not been like a super dark fruit bomb to me. There's a little bit of that prune and that raisin, but it's subdued to some extent compared to like Eyinger Celebrator, where again I get more of that. As it passes through about halfway to maybe 2/3 way through the palate, the earthiness hits. There's a little bit of a bitterness, maybe even a slight touch of like a floral sensation. This finishes semi to full on dry with a very mild bitterness. This beer, all that sweet malty goodness at the forefront, the dryness is what balances it out. This isn't to me a bitter beer at all. Again, a very mild earthy bitterness with a little bit of floral sensation. The alcohol, I get a little bit of a warming in the chest. Nothing on the palate. I do know this is a bigger beer. If I was doing this blind, I'd probably guess 8 to 9%. So it hides it somewhat well. But a beer like this, again, it's not going to be a big boozy monster, I don't think. It's 7.6. Even as far as like, and I always say like nowadays, the breweries have done a great job of hiding ABV. Sometimes you get beers that are 10, 11, 12% and they don't taste like it. This beer, 7.6%, you kind of know, but it's not a bad thing. It's a really fucking good Doppel Bock. There's not much more to say about it. And this one, again, was light struck to some degree. Had the skunky, as soon as I cracked it, got a little bit of skunky aroma. In the nose, a little bit remnants of that. And then the taste, nothing. This isn't fresh. Best by date of a couple months from now. And they have a little code here on the bottom. I'd imagine this was probably, I would say probably bottled sometime in 2001. Or 2001. 2021, I just don't know when. So it's probably, a couple years old or going to be a couple years old. Something like that. Maybe in 2020. Regardless, aged or not, fresh or not, I've had this beer plenty of times before. It's always fucking good. It's going to be interesting because I did, spoilers, pick up Paulaner Salvator. I'll be reviewing that one soon. But I also picked up from Augustiner Bräu, which I've never had a beer from them. Had no idea they ever even distributed to the US. I picked up their Maximator. So I've reviewed Celebrator from Eyinger. I've reviewed Weihenstephaner's Corbinian, and now I've reviewed this. In order, Eyinger, Weihenstephaner, and this beer. And it's not a huge difference, but there is a difference. So rating on this one, Optimator from Spaten Bräu, I have no problems giving this a, shout out to the motorcycle by, giving this a, we'll go 4.25 out of 5. That's where we go. I think the Weihenstephaner Corbinian, I did like 4.5. And Celebrator, I'm pretty sure I gave a 5 out of 5. Because again, I think that's the best of the bunch. But a 4.25 out of 5, it's fucking great beer. It's just not as good as the aforementioned 2. We'll see where Paulaner lines up. And then I'm curious about that Augustiner Bräu Maximator. Never had that before. I picked it up because, again, I had no idea we could distro of any of their stuff, so I grabbed it. Yeah, anyway, if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. Price and availability. This is where I love these German imports. And again, it says imported right on the neck there on the label. This was, I think I paid $2.69 for that bottle. I think a 4-pack. I think it's 4 packs. Maybe it's 6 packs. Whatever, $2.69 a bottle. If you're talking about 4-pack, it's like $10. Talking about 6-pack, you're like probably like $13, $14. Like, yeah, for a beer at 7.6%, all the malt goodness you ever wanted if you like malt forward beers, like this is it. And I love a box, but more so Doppel Bock. Probably my favorite German style, to be honest with you. Just fucking delicious. And availability, wherever you see Spaten beers, you should see this one. I think it's year round here in the US. Now on Untappd, and this is where any of my European viewers, I don't know how many I have out there, but any European viewers out there, especially if you live in Germany or you know about the distro, do they actually get this in Germany? Because on Untappd, it says that this beer is only available in the US and nowhere else, not even Germany. So I'd be curious to know if this actually is just a beer they produce in Germany and then just import it here in or export it to the US and we import it, because that's crazy to me. Like, you guys don't get this over here because it's a fucking good beer. All of the Doppel Bocks we get here are pretty fucking good. So I don't know. Anyway, again, post comment section if you had this one before. Let me know what you thought about it. Just a fucking really good beer. End of story. Not much more to say. Anyway, to the next one. Prost.